go on.
You are about to begin a most important journey.
Attention, all pilots.
A journey from which you shall never return.
Attention, take off immediately.
Created by the great explosion at the beginning of time. This equipment was built by a very advanced intelligence.
But our work is top secret in nature.
Attention.
The people would rejoice.
After realizing the failures of the Super Adventures block and Power Zone, Cartoon Network was looking for new ideas in order to make a successful action cartoon block. Enter Jason DeMarco and Sean Akins, two up-and-coming talents that were initially brought to Cartoon Network by Mike Lazo, the creator of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and under the banner of Ghost Planet Productions, which is now called William Street, were tasked with creating the new action cartoon block.
Sean was asked to come up with names for this cartoon block. He cut a video with an editor friend of ours who now runs the Adult Swim Bumps, and it was like a proof of concept, and it was a lot of like Spawn comics and kids skating and like bootlegged anime that we just threw into this thing. You know, he made it, and it was sort of like, it's gonna be like this, and the network was like, what the hell are you talking about? So Lazo believed in it, though. Lazo believed in Sean, really, and said, okay, you're crazy. I'll give you some time to do this. It's going to be better than what's on now. And so Sean, I was working at the time as a freelancer at TNT, cutting promos. And I would go downstairs to Cartoon Network with Sean, and we would just think of names. So we just had a list of like 40 different names, and that was the one name. We all felt good about it. I think that it was sort of the obvious choice, but we all felt good about it. And when Sean out of that list of 40, he gave like 10 of them to Lazo, and Lazo felt like immediately that one made the most sense. But just, you know, the idea of like, you know, cartoon Toonami, like it just made sense to us. You know, we didn't necessarily think we were going to show all anime. We just thought, whoa, what a cool, you know, that's a cool visual idea. Turns out we were right. Got lucky. Yeah.
And so, Toonami was born. However, before it aired, they set up some promotional material for the block in the form of very cryptic and mysterious commercials, along with a very short-lived comic series called Cartoon Network Presents Toonami.
Every afternoon. Toonami. Premiering March 17th. Expect turbulence.
This broadcast is intended solely for the enjoyment of all audiences. Any rebroadcast, or retransmission without express written consent of Toonami and Cartoon Network is strictly prohibited.
Toonami first aired on March 17, 1997, and while it didn't set the world on fire, it was initially more successful than their previous action cartoon blocks. In fact, the block's popularity only increased with time, allowing them to gain the rights to more series and movies. So by the end of the 2-year-long Moltar era, a total of 25 programs aired, 19 of which were television series, and the other 6 were movies. Of those films, half of them were Western cartoons, and the other half was anime movies, all of which were based off of previously existing franchises. For the TV shows, there were only 4 anime series, but 15 Western cartoons, many of which were aired on a special segment called Cartoon Roulette, which I will discuss in a separate video. The supervillain Moltar of Space Ghost fame hosted the block itself from the fictional Ghost Planet Industries building scene in the second intro to Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Moltar was still voiced by Clay Croker and retained all of his non-silly characteristics and even added a little depth to his character when he did his speeches, which would then become one of the most memorable parts of the block. Moltar's speeches were of little number and had pretty basic themes. 2 of them covered the tropes of heroes and villains while talking about how much they're needed in stories and, in the case of heroes, real life as well.
Without heroes, there would be only victims. Well, victims, villains, you know.
The end is only 30 seconds away.
Think of this, we have both on the I think it's time for serious action.
Nothing can stop us.
God, it's me. How can I think of myself when others are suffering?
Another one of his speeches talks about reruns and how they're a necessary evil in the television business.
Reruns suck, but there's no escape.
I'm getting out of here.
Get out of there.
We've got to get out of here and fast.
You took it out of here.
Let's get out of here.
We have to get out of here.
people remember Toonami not only for its shows, but also for its promos, intros, and its speeches. These were all edited in very strange and unconventional ways, giving off a very chaotic and dreamlike feel. Unfortunately, they hadn't quite perfected their technique in the Moltar era, and as such, some of them came off just a tad awkward.
It's now or never! Old Tom has done it again!
So, you guys thank them. Believe me.
Well, that does it for the general overview of the Moltar era. There are some smaller details that I haven't covered, but those will be covered in the individual reviews. Speaking of the reviews, let's talk about them for a minute. While there were 25 programs aired in the Moltar era, I won't cover all of them by the time I finish reviewing the section of Toonami history. As I've said before, I won't always review the series and movies in release order, though I think that people will like the plans I have for how and when I review them. I will specify what reviews I won't do yet, however, I realize the very likely potential that the things I won't review yet could cause a large amount of backlash, so I ask for a certain amount of trust that I will get to them. It'll just take a little longer than you might have initially expected. Anyway, the reviews I will not do yet are Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, Dragon Ball Z the series, along with the movies Dead Zone, World's Strongest, and Tree of Might. Again, I am asking for a lot of trust and patience, but I can assure you that it will be worth the wait. So next time on the Toonami Retrospective, I will be reviewing the first show to ever air on Toonami, the 1985 Thundercats series. Thanks for watching.